What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Clone Wars Chronological Rewatch. Today we are starting Season 6, which is the final season in our Chronological Rewatch. Because, do you remember when we started this, we were going to finish it before Season 7 came out?
And we did not.
We didn't? Oh well. What are we, like, 2 years too late? More than that?
We did not.
Oh, we didn't make it. Oh well.
No.
So this is going to be our final season. We're kicking off the conspiracy arc with the unknown. And just going into this, I was going to say, I feel like I don't remember Season 6 very well.
I totally agree. I did not remember this episode. I remembered that an episode like this happened, but I didn't know when and where.
Like, I remember the conspiracy arc. I remember generally what happens. That, you know, this is the one where a clone, Tup's chip, fires too early. It just goes off and he shoots a Jedi in the midst of battle. And everyone's like, what's going on? We better start looking into that. We better start finally asking questions about this clone army that appeared out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And so that's what this arc is about. And I'm like, yeah, I remember it happening, just not the specifics of it. And it's interesting, I was listening to our friends' Force Center podcast. They're going through the Clone Wars as well and covering arcs at a time. And they said basically the same thing. And it just feels, Season 6 feels a little bit outside of the rest just because it probably dropped all on Netflix on the same day. Mm. I don't know why, like that shouldn't matter because I watched all of the Clone Wars for the first time on Netflix.
Yeah.
Which also makes me realize I'm pretty sure we started doing this and the Clone Wars was still on Netflix.
Yeah. Well, like, the end of Season 5 was such a big deal that maybe Season 6 just kind of fell behind for a lot of people.
It's interesting, just... I like the arcs that we got, especially the conspiracy arc and the last one with Yoda. The opening and the ending are great, but since this wasn't like the planned end for the show, it does feel a little disconnected in that way too. Mm-hmm. But still, like, I really like this episode. I like that we get to see another visual upgrade, it looks like. Yeah,
the clones, everybody's faces look a little bit neater, a little bit better graphics, I guess.
Yeah, it surprised me that it looked close to Season 7, closer than I imagined it would. Yeah. Or that I remembered it.
I was frustrated with this episode because as soon as they announced 2 cool-looking new Jedi, one of them gets killed.
Yep.
What a bummer.
Brutally, too.
Yeah, like shot in the head point blank. I definitely did not remember that, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Was not ready for that.
This episode is brutal. The violence to the clones is pretty rough as well. Mm-hmm. It definitely, you know, we've said this throughout all the seasons, but you can see that it grows up with the audience. And it's like, yep, Season 6 is like, you're probably solidly into your teens now.
Yeah, the Separatists come at the end to get Tups, basically, and they just rip through the ship, and you see all the other dead clones just kind of floating around. It is brutal.
It's when they're like boarding the ships and shooting the clones in the cockpit or ripping the cockpit open and then pulling their helmets off. I'm like, okay, calm down. Like, you got them. That's overkill.
Yeah. That was a special kind of battle droid, I guess.
Yeah. But the theme for this episode, I wrote it down, is the truth about yourself is always the hardest to accept. And I think that's kind of a theme for this entire arc, which a lot of the Clone Wars episodes do that. It's like, this is a theme that will last for the next 4 episodes, but we'll keep building off of it. But yeah, this is about 2 clones, specifically 5s, I would say, learning the truth about why they were created and their purpose, and having to come to terms with that, and not only accept it personally, but also try to convince everyone else that something crazy is going on.
Mm-hmm. I'm just now realizing one of the, I guess, alternative meanings of that is like, because in this episode I noticed there was a lot of like small moments between Rex and 5s, I think it was, or just in between clones in general, where we got like some jokes, or like, I don't know, they spend a little extra time showing their humanity in this episode to then obviously show how it can all be taken away with the flip of a switch.
Yeah, I think you are exactly right, that we see the clones are brothers with each other, and with the Jedi. You know, Tup shoots a Jedi and they capture Tup, and they don't like kill him immediately or anything. They're like, something's wrong with him. They don't think he turned a traitor. They're like, we're going to investigate this and find it out. And yeah, you see Fives and Rex and Anakin all joking with each other and coming up with creative plans. And then, yeah, to know that down the line a switch is going to be flipped and everything that makes them who they are is going to be gone. It's so tragic.
Yeah.
And I remember learning about the inhibitor chips for the first time. This was another one of those moments in the fandom where people were like, no, that's not how it happened.
Like midichlorians.
Kinda, yeah. Where in Legends, as far as we knew, the clones were just so well trained that when they heard Order 66, they were like, yep, turn on the Jedi. And there were other orders that would have, turned against Palpatine or there were lots of orders, and they just knew to follow them because good soldiers follow orders. And so the fact that there was an inhibitor chip thrown into the mix, a lot of people didn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that was just like, that was George's idea and what he wanted to run with, so that's how it is.
Something else that you pointed out that I did find interesting, we've kind of touched on this before, but they didn't go after, Tup did not go after Anakin. So is there some kind of like deep-seated coding in these chips that says, Anakin, we've got plans for him, don't worry about him?
Yeah. I thought that was a cool touch, that like Tup is kind of out of it and he's looking around and he looks directly at Anakin, no reaction. He looks at Tip Blar, I think the one he didn't shoot. She comes in and he freaks out like, Jedi, gotta kill the Jedi. It's like, yeah, interesting that he didn't react to Anakin. And it still goes with my theory that Palpatine has like a Google spreadsheet of Jedi names to keep safe.
Yeah.
So if he's like, obviously Anakin goes there, and every time he converts another Inquisitor, he's like, okay, put them in there. Proset Dibs, keep him alive. The Grand Inquisitor, whatever your name is, keep him in there.
Whatever their names are.
We don't know. I kind of hope we learn in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
And this episode is definitely going to come out after Obi-Wan Kenobi, so...
Way after.
So
I hope it's good, everyone.
Yeah.
I hope you liked it.
Yeah, how was Kenobi? We're asking from the past. Let us know in the comments. But yeah, it was a good episode, fun episode, still brutal. I really do remember liking this arc. I think you might be frustrated by it because it's another kind of the Ahsoka thing all over again, where it's like, someone believe Fives, please.
Yes. I'm already not looking forward to being frustrated with that situation again, but like that's just naturally what happens in the Star Wars story. You're like, come on, people, open your eyes.
And this one, now that I think about it, it leads into the Bad Batch very well, because of how much it's going to deal with Kamino.
Yes.
And it makes the Kaminoans a lot more nefarious and a lot more shifty. Not all of them, but the ones that are in on, the stuff.
The stuff.
It's good to know that going into the Bad Batch.
Yeah. And I like this episode because we're starting to see Palpatine freak out a little bit. He is human after all. Not all of his plans are working exactly how he wants them to. And this one in particular is he's like, oh no, like if this one gets messed up, I am in big trouble.
Yeah. He keeps his composure to his credit. Like, I love that Trench, he's back, by the way.
Oh, yeah. A steampunk Trench.
Yeah. Trench sees it all happen, and he's like, that's weird. And he tells Dooku, and he's like, oh, I'll keep that under advisement. Thank you. And then he, like, rushes over to Palpatine. He's like, hey, problems. And Palpatine's just like, if this happens, it could really throw a wrench in things. Like, he doesn't freak out. But, yeah, I like seeing him go like, oh, I did not foresee this.
Yeah. Do you think he turned the hologram off and turned around and started, like, doing a Kylo Ren where he's just, like, got his lightsaber out and he's like, dang it.
I just imagine him screaming into a pillow.
Yeah. Just like a big red fluffy pillow that it has in his office.
Masamita in just to yell at him about something innocuous.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? We'll never know. But Palpatine does play into this arc in future episodes, which is fun to see. But yeah, that'll be it for The Unknown. Next time we will continue this arc with the episode Conspiracy. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
And consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.